I had a short dream this morning that I want to share with you. In this dream, I saw a preacher or a pastor of a church that was going on the streets and calling people to church. And there were two women there, and he told them to go to his church. And I saw that, and I went to him and I told him that the church of God is not made by brick and mortar, and the true church of God are those who are filled with the Spirit of God and worship God in spirit and in truth. And he said to me, yeah, but in church you get to have fellowship with the brethren, and I said to him, even people in the world can have fellowship with each other, they have friendships with each other and so on. And later I said to those two women that the real reason why he's calling them to church is so that they can have members there who eventually start giving them money. And they said to me, yeah, we know. So that was pretty not surprising for me in the dream, because many people that are atheists or not Christian, not practicants, they know about the deception of the church nowadays. They can't hide it anymore. Anyway, later on in the dream, this person from the church told me that something about finding a wife or a husband in church. And I said to him that God told me since 2017 to wait for my wife. You see, and this is a big deception. Even bigger deception of they're trying to make money. But on top of that, and which is even worse, is that they're taking the place of Jesus Christ, and they're acting as if they're head of church, and they want to manage your life and to tell you what to do and when to do it and how to do it. They want to take the place of God in your life. Dear friends, don't be deceived by church. Start seeking God with all your heart and ask Him, our only teacher, ask Him to teach you and to guide you and to command you and to show you what to do, because otherwise we're just lost sheep. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you.